5:30, April 8th. No bills? Okay, that's good. These are from
We have
March 25th.
March 25th. We'll postpone March 11th ones until, there's a copy of March 11th if you don't have one.
You know,
Until everybody was here, we postponed. Oh, there you go.
Will you stop moving?
I keep wondering off you.
She keeps rolling back.
You want the bylaws? I have the book here.
what's that?
You're looking for the bylaws? Good, how are you? Okay.
You wanna take the A&R? Kit? Come on up. What do you got?
That plan from Randy Iser.
Here's one. What are we doing here, Kit?
The building lot, it's, Baxter Street.
Where the stars.
It's the next one towards Amherst Street from the three that are down there across from the entrance. So
These are the ones that slope down to the lake.
yes. Past the high tension lines. Coming from Amherst Street.
So what are we doing?
So I'm assuming this is one lot right here. We're breaking this
Yeah.
one up, or this one here off.
That's the one that's being broken.
This one here.
Well, it's not
From
really
that other
broken.
property.
It's a separate. This is the one piece. This is already one piece. Here's three houses.
So what are we
So
doing?
this line's over here.
This is the piece you're breaking off.
This is being broken off of that piece.
It's not, it was its own plan. It's a separate piece. I don't know if it's actually being broken off.
Oh, this is already a separate piece?
I believe so.
Well, then you wouldn't have to be here then.
But it's, I don't know if it's been surveyed or.
Well, it couldn't have been broken off if it hadn't been surveyed.
But he doesn't know if it
It was my great uncle's land.
Yeah,
It hasn't been sold for years.
I knew he'd see.
Hey, guys. Good.
Milton, whether it has or it hasn't, it doesn't matter. We can still sign off on it.
Well, we can sign off on it, but if he doesn't have to spend the money to us, the $250.
Well, he's gonna have to spend it, and then if he finds out
Yeah.
that it's already been recorded and everything's good, then we'll cut him,
Okay.
we'll refund it.
I can't see that that would be the case. Randy Eisen wouldn't have done that. Plus, I don't think this line had ever been determined.
Do you have another one of these?
No.
Okay. We need to, and we need to date it. And we would need a check for $250? Question mark? We have to vote on this.
Yep. It's today.
8th. I'll make a motion to accept the A&R.
We have a second?
Second that?
Wait a minute, except to approve the A&R?
I don't think we have, approval's not required. I don't think we have to vote on these.
We never
in
did,
all
but-
honesty.
We never did before, but
That's why I'm
it doesn't,
saying.
it doesn't hurt. If someone wants to do it that way, I don't object to it, but we've never done it that way before.
For Christopher Aldrich, a portion of Assessor's Map 1, Parcel D-3. On Bachelor Street.
So do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Abstain.
Aye.
You abstain?
I wasn't here. Discussed.
You just walked in as it started.
cute.
You don't need me anyways. You don't need me on that anyways.
So, the check for,
Right here.
oh, it just floated right by me.
No, you put it over there.
Ah, okay, very good, thank you.
Oh, no, no, we talk. Then we don't stop talking.
Donating.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.
Salary's going in it.
No.
Thank you.
They said Ron.
No, I said Rob. Okay.
Quiet down, Ron. Certainly.
Might as well, well, no. Okay, so we keep one of those. And how many paper copies do we keep? So the four we sign, we keep.
We keep 4, we keep 1 Mylar, and we send the applicant back with his own Mylar for recording, right?
And the paper ones there. Okay. That's yours.
And that's the roller. Give me back this.
You want a,
I'm good.
And these will go back with this.
You're all set. Thank you. Take care.
did you want the 8.5 or 11 in here too?
Oh, yeah. Do we need to put-
Oh, you want the check in all as well?
Yeah. Roll it up, put this, put the rubber band out, and put this on.
Okay. That's how you want to do it.
Sure. down the bottom there. So we put the whole thing like that.
No, I was gonna put the rubber band over the check as well.
Very good. Very good. You don't need this. Okay. This way. So, are you gonna do it with the piano?
I'll make a motion to close the meeting and open the public hearing for CPV Red Rock Solar LLC, Lion Street, Granby, Mass.
Is there a second?
Second?
All in favor? Aye. Anybody opposed? All right, 5:45 PM, continuing hearing for CBV Red Rock Solar LLC, 3 Lion Street, Granby, Mass. 01033, for a special permit and site plan approval as required under the following sections of the Granby zoning bylaw. Section 3.0, Table 1, Scheduled Use of Regulations. Section 5.99, Large-Scale Ground-Mounted Solar Photovoltaic Installations. Section 6.2, Special Permits. And Section 6.3, Site Plan Approval. The applicant proposes to install a 3.0 megawatt DC large-scale ground-mounted solar photovoltaic facility on approximately 21 acres or approximately 76 acre site comprised of 4 abutting parcels east of Lion Street, accessories parcel ID 17-A-39, 17-A-40, and 17-A-41.1, which are located in the town of Granby, and parcel ID 20-4C, which is located in the town of Ludlow. All 4 parcels are owned by James Naraki, JL and Properties, 5 Lion Street, Granby, Mass. 01033. The site is located within a residential single-family RS zoning district.
Good evening.
Oh, sorry, good evening.
I'm Brian Huntley with Time Bond here on behalf of CPV Red Rock Solar again. I think our hope tonight is to try to see how we can continue to move forward with the peer review. We worked with Bill Scanlon over the past 2 weeks to try to come up with scope and proposals and push the process along. And I believe you have a proposal now from Berkshire Engineering that addresses the scope. And I guess we had anticipated that we were going to have that done before the meeting, and here we are again trying to continue to further the project forward. So I guess our hope is to understand if the board is going to execute that contract. If you can't do it tonight, if there's a delegate that can do it, and in Bill's absence, because I understand he's in Europe, is there somebody else that can make the coordination, or does that further delay the project? And then I think the details on who do we need to send a check to, how does it all work, are the kind of things that we're hoping to come away from this.
Okay.
Sorry, that was a mouthful.
Yeah.
All of the above.
Okay, so Berkshire Engineering's, they've got a breakdown of hours for each different discipline, and an estimate of a total of $1,600 total, if I understand that correctly?
That's how I understood it as well. I saw a copy of that come in the end of last week, I think.
So it's a pretty simple review, basically.
They already did the review of the project for the Conservation Commission. They've already done all the stormwater review. They're familiar with the project.
Okay. So I'd make a motion to approve this proposal so that we can sign it and they can commence within 2 days. Well, if they get this tomorrow, a signed copy to commence, then they can start within 2 days. If I understand this correctly.
So all of that is your motion, or do you want to just make a motion to approve?
I'm just making a motion to approve the proposal from Berkshire Engineering.
I'll second it.
Okay. So any further discussion? No? No. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? No? Okay.
Any idea when they can, how soon they can respond?
Within,
I mean Berkshire.
I
Within-
don't know. I know that they indicated that they can start within a couple of days. I would certainly hope that they can turn it around fairly quickly.
The one hiccup that everybody may have is April 22nd's meeting is just gonna be strictly a public hearing for the bylaw changes. And I would recommend, or throw out to my board members, that if we had to meet early, or another day to expedite this, if everybody'd be willing to entertain it.
yeah, what time's our meeting on the 22nd? 5:30?
The public hearing?
Yes.
Yes.
It's at
You're
5:30.
not gonna be here anyway.
Yeah, and that's, yeah.
So, when, are you gone that whole week? Is that your intention?
Back the 22nd, that late at night, so
So you could do something later that week?
I could definitely do something later that week.
But you're gone the previous week.
Yeah, I'm gone as of the 18th.
And we have our next meeting on the 29th too, after that. That's our together.
So why don't we continue this to the 22nd at 5 o'clock? And then if we have any more information, if they're complete with
Has the
this,
meeting already been posted then for the 22nd?
You can add the agenda in 48 hours prior to the meeting.
well, no, it has to be posted as well, not just added to the agenda.
Right, but that can be, I mean, that can be posted and added to it though.
I wouldn't be able to attend, like something else. 20 What are you talking, the 22nd?
22nd.
That's our public hearing.
Mhm.
So you want to do this after the public hearing? Is that what you're saying?
Before it,
Before the public hearing?
5 o'clock,
Oh,
4:35, whatever's convenient for everybody.
I don't think the public hearing's been posted yet.
yeah, that's,
Has it been posted? But I mean, but as far as the, if
Well, we
the-
can have a separate meeting.
We can have a separate, I mean, you can have a separate
Yes.
meeting before that
Yeah, we can.
public hearing, and that can be, you just need
But
to,
Glenn's not gonna be here anyway,
on the 22nd.
so you're gonna have to watch the tape.
That's fine. I'm not saying we're gonna make a decision, but at least we'll have the information before us.
Let me ask you this. I watched the Conservation Commission meeting. Would it be more beneficial to all parties concerned to wait until after the 23rd? Because hopefully you're gonna get your approvals and the mitigation and,
We hope that's gonna happen tomorrow.
oh, that's tomorrow.
Tomorrow night, we're here in
Okay.
front of the, yeah, they closed the hearing at the last meeting, and so now they have 21 days to issue the order of conditions. Tomorrow is day 14. We were told that they will have the order of conditions ready tomorrow night to discuss, negotiate, and hopefully issue.
I
So,
apologize, my mistake.
no worries. My hope is that tomorrow we walk out with an order of conditions in hand.
I mean, if we could meet before Glenn leaves, would you say the 18th?
We can meet as long as they're done.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's.
We're leaving on the 18th? We got, we'll meet next Tuesday and Wednesday.
And you weren't, no indication about how long it would take?
I didn't see in that, and I know that Bill was doing the communication directly. I didn't want to
Yeah.
overstep by any means, so I saw the proposal that you have as well. It says they can start in 2 days, but it doesn't give a definitive,
So you're leaving on the 18th.
if we were to continue the public hearing until the 14th or 15th, next Thursday or Friday, do you think that would be adequate time for Berkshire If this all gets signed,
You're looking at the wrong
Yeah, you're in the
calendar.
wrong month.
we approved. Sorry about that.
It was a test, this is for open attention.
Well, April's the same thing.
No, the 14th is a Sunday, the 15th is a holiday.
Are you in the right here?
Yeah, if we met the 18th or 19th, Thursday or Friday of April. No, you're not here, I'm sorry. Okay,
They had to be before the 18th. right?
yeah,
But then we don't know, so we'd have,
everything for Bert. I'm just trying to move this forward, that's all.
but you're back, how about? I can't do.
I mean, could you
but I can do
contact us and let us know?
Well, I know
can't.
that
We
this
gotta
is a
give a date
continued hearing, so it
tonight.
has to be to a date certain. I guess, is it possible to continue it to the 17th? You know, hopefully we push for a review by Berkshire at that point, and if we don't have it, we would then be opening and continuing to another date certain. By then, we should know when it is. And I apologize, I understand that it's not a typical day for you, so.
I'm good with that.
I wouldn't have a problem with that.
That's okay with me. What time do you want to do it?
Earlier the better, unless,
Well, Glenn has difficulty at 5, so.
5:30? Does that work?
5:30 would be better.
On the 17th?
So a motion to continue the hearing
Mhm.
until 4/17 at 5:30?
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
aye.
Anybody opposed?
Thank you very much. And it's okay, I can reach directly to Berkshire, let them know that this happened, and
Yeah.
Well,
try to light a fire.
one thing we haven't,
you
one
can-
thing we haven't discussed is well, one of the questions was the monetary fee.
Yeah, we just did, we approved it.
We approved it,
So
but I
Glenn
thought
can,
there was a question in here
Of the deposit?
of where it goes to and that kind of stuff.
That would go to the town of Granby.
Right.
Right, goes in escrow.
Okay.
So,
I just want to be sure that we're all covered here. And
we could send you away with a signed copy tonight.
pardon?
We could send him away with a signed copy of this agreement tonight.
Or you can sign it and I'll scan it in and send it to Berkshire and them too, and they'll have the original flowing to Berkshire.
That's fine.
That works.
That's why we have,
So. you can
Why not sign it and give it to him tonight?
Great.
2 copies,
yeah, we have plenty of copies.
Yep.
Why not
Thank
sign
you.
it? Why not, one second. Why not sign it tonight?
Pardon?
Why not sign it tonight?
No, I'm saying
Oh, we
go ahead
are.
and sign it tonight. I'm saying,
Oh.
but then I'll scan it in and I'll email a scanned copy to both Berkshire and to Huntley.
Time bond, yes.
And,
So you can give him a verbal.
then Kathy can
That
send
works,
the
that works as
original
well,
out.
honestly.
Okay.
I
I
would
just said we have-
prefer that the contract.
we have several
for this
copies here already,
reports
so.
to Berkshire, so.
So I have a copy to sign. So you need to sign it tonight. You got to do this.
He's got to.
And the deposit money? You're going to.
I don't have it with me.
But you'll be sending in a check for,
$1,600.
That's, that,
Town of Granby.
okay.
Will Berkshire, no.
Okay. So Kathy can be on the lookout for that.
Now you wonder who the client's name is?
Yes.
I think it would be Town of Granby, the client's name on the contract.
Or Granby Planning Board, I guess, I'm not sure who is the contract.
Well, if the money's going to the Town of Granby,
Yeah.
keep it clean.
Yeah.
Fine with me?
would you date that? Date it. Where did you?
spot for
Yeah,
it.
just dated it.
Are we good?
You're in a minute. You got one there?
You're sending off two, or one at a time?
Just one. Right?
I don't know if Kathy needs two, a lot of times she needs two.
Well, we'll sign
So,
two more.
sign three?
Here you go.
You want to sign three? You got another one there?
Science, we usually have
Yes,
three of them.
we got three.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
So, you signing up front, please?
Yeah, anybody
You guys
else can
sign
sign in, can sign it. So we have to close, the motion to close public hearing.
Let's wait for Bob to get back. I'll make a motion to reopen the regular meeting.
Second?
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Somebody opposed? Do we do any of that other stuff, administrative duties at all? No?
What's that?
Do we do any administrative duties to approve the minutes?
There was no bills, minutes we
bills.
put on hold,
Okay.
correspondence, I didn't,
Correspondence was just the usual stuff from surrounding communities.
okay.
What's the letter there?
It's just stating that South Street Solar Array had been registered at the registry of deeds. Or the decision had.
That's not a sign, right?
No.
You may have that for posterity?
No.
That's next in a couple of minutes.
Okay.
I'm gonna try to put shine in at the end.
Was there any update on the bylaw changes for public hearings?
Do you want to go over that? It's gonna take.
Doesn't take a
You
while.
wanna-
yeah,
Why
I
we're-
was thinking we should
probably
get
longer
these,
than 10 minutes.
these people out of,
We will, it's just,
Mr. Lamoureux's here if you wanna
sure, yeah.
see him. Come on, Sean.
Well,
What are we doing?
I'm here just to, I guess, try to get this planning site approval, or I guess get my ducks in a row. But I need to get that to go forward. So I think I just need an application. I sent Kathy the prints. She said you didn't want a bunch of copies, 8 copies.
See what you got.
So I sent Kathy PDF files of these, so all the boards could look at them, I guess, prior to getting a meeting. on the agenda. That's existing conditions. I propose to put some readers up front. This is just kind of like a layout of what's going on right there right now. I propose to put some arborvitaes to get a screen in the front here, just to make it less noticeable from the roadway.
So that's what,
This is the arborvitaes here, it's just like a screening to kind of screen me from visibility. I guess there's some current concerns with the piles of compost and wood chips.
How big is your lot over there?
5.8 acres. It's about 900 feet of frontage by about 300 feet deep.
How far are these pushed back off the road?
You think
I think they're 40 feet. This is scaled drawing, so this would be, edge of road is there, it's probably about 50 feet. I don't have a scale on me. It's been a little while since these were drawn up, but with the location these are at and the elevation of the road, if these were like 6 feet high and I propose to put them up on a mound, then you block about 95% of everything as far as visibility. I mean, you would get this window here while you're driving by at 40 miles an hour, you would have a window.
so you're
view in.
basically 10 feet off.
That's a
That's-
culvert, that's a culvert
Yep.
and stuff. This is the edge of pavement here.
Correct. You're 10 feet off the public way, I'm guessing. This is the edge of the road. They've got to have at least another
30 feet.
30 feet from the edge?
Yeah, you can't, yeah, you gotta be 30 feet out. And this is like a drainage swale here, so we wouldn't be able to put them too close anyway.
See, they're widening 202. They're going to be putting
Right.
bike lanes and sidewalks on both sides.
Both sides.
So my fear is these aren't set back far enough, especially down here. And you don't want to do that.
Yeah, I hate to
And-
put them in and have them rip them out.
Could,
So I'm definitely willing to, listen to whomever wants to give me some insight on what needs to be done to,
could you, Dave DeRocher's seen plans. They've run all these plans by him, correct?
Yes, it's
Yeah,
part of
and
it.
there's, I thought I heard the word eminent domain being used too.
yeah, I think
Well, they
they
did
are.
Some of the taking for the extra width
Yeah,
of
because there was a
sidewalks
state
and stuff.
assessor lady going up and down the roads taking pictures of valley. I don't know if they're
It might be
assessing the
worth
valley.
getting a hold of Mass DOT, find out exactly what, or maybe Dave DeRocher can put you in contact with who's,
I've spoke to the guy in Northampton before, but I can talk to Dave as well. I know Dave.
before you spend a lot of time and find out that what we're discussing is, can't happen due to
And because this.
plan changes.
Exactly, and because this is all wetlands,
Well, that's, yeah,
they may have to do other things in here, further setbacks to do, while they're
Like,
doing the work. What's that?
for like the bike lane or the sidewalks or something.
Yeah. Have they, well, as Mass DOT must have it mapped out by now.
They do have all the plans drawn up. They've been, so Dave Droscher, I'm sure, has seen the plans, and he might be able just to kind of tell you what their plans are.
Right, and then kind of scale off of that, and then I'm just looking to kind of screen things off, so I'm kind of keeping everyone happy.
So this is supposed to be for site plan approval?
Yes, but there's no building going up. I'm just kind of parking stuff there at this point.
I'm just thinking about what the bylaw specifies we need for site plan approval, besides the form filled out.
Need a butters list, $200
Yeah.
check, plus 10 cents
See,
per
you've
square
got it.
foot.
Got it all? Yep.
With so much land, why, I guess, why wouldn't we keep stuff behind the building?
There is no building.
That is,
No,
Well, I'm
this
thinking the
is-
other one. I'm thinking
This
the
is
other part.
across from the
Yeah, yeah.
Campground Club,
I'm thinking the other part, the other one.
Pioneer Valley.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got plenty of land right behind to move your operation back?
I'm only 300 feet deep.
Oh,
It's,
I'm longer.
Oh, that's,
than-
Longer.
okay. Wow,
yeah.
got a good trunk along 202 there.
A lot of frontage, but it's a lot of
Yeah,
wet.
right.
There's some dry land over here that's kind of on its own little,
Yeah, I'd find out, because I think that I thought the first phase was up to Amherst Street. I thought that was
Amherst
phase
Street's
one.
over here.
But I know, I'm just saying, as far as the DOT, I thought there's 3 separate phases
Okay.
that they're talking about. So,
Well, the other
Or
thing
is it
keep
Fence Hill
in mind is, we're gonna be putting water all the way up to Finn's Hill.
right. I mean, I'd just follow up with Dave Drosser and find out, so
And
you
we
know.
can be certain if sidewalks are going in, they're at least going to Finn's Hill,
Correct.
to
Yeah.
the elderly.
Well, according to Jay's presentation, they're going all the way to the
Belchertown?
Belchertown line.
Well, that's the plan, I mean, but that's,
That's the final.
yeah, I mean, like I said, there's 3 separate phases that, and they're years apart. And it all depends on funding after each one.
All right, well, this has got to get moved, it's going to have to get moved back, and I'm guessing it's going to have to go back at least 15 feet from what you're showing here.
Okay.
To keep you out, it's either that or this goes up, the screening, we hold off on this plan until after the state and all the work's done.
I mean, that could be a couple of years.
Well, that's,
Maybe some of us may not even be sitting on
Yeah.
this board then.
So, like I said, I'd go back to our original recommendation, follow up with Dave Drosser, if he knows exactly where their plans are to do that, and then make it back far enough so it's not gonna, have to take it down or, to tear them up or anything like that down the road.
So then revise the plans as needed and come back with all the paperwork with the,
Yeah, that's where I would be with it.
and the number of copies of the plans that we need.
All right, I'll follow up with Dave and see where everything is getting put through.
he might even know the schedule too.
Yeah, he's pretty on top of everything. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
6:15.
6:15, Brandon Doc, discussion with Todd Brunel. Good, how are you? Good.
So, I don't know what process or anything, I just kind of sketched something up, but I want to build a garage at my house.
Okay,
I guess, what do you need from me?
how big is it?
40 by 50. So I just did this today, I just kind of like drew it up beside,
So 2,000 square feet.
2,000, yeah.
Is it attached to the house?
No, no. So I'm right over here on 202 after Early Mug, going towards Belchertown.
1200, yeah.
That's my driveway, that's the house, and go on this side.
Yeah.
What is it being used for?
A garage. Just a garage.
Personal use?
Yep.
$2,000 square foot?
Yes.
40 by 50.
It's still a joint CBA
That's right.
meeting.
So
Public hearing, right?
you're gonna, need.
Public hearing.
So what we're gonna need a little bit more than this. if this is to scale, I'm assuming these are 10. So that's 30 feet from the property line?
Yep,
Okay. That's got to get called out.
roughly. I mean, I can move it. It's not like set in stone. I have plenty of
You're,
space.
well,
How far off the line? Do I have to be 30 feet off the line?
I think the setbacks are 15
15,
off the,
Oh, okay.
you just,
I
we-
definitely have that.
off the sideline.
It
and
just needs to
20 off.
show it, but what, it's gotta show.
You need almost an engineered plan showing how the building's gonna be configured on the property, is that correct?
Yes.
yeah.
As well as elevation showing the, all
It's in
four
the-
sides?
It's in the bylaws, yeah. All those
Are-
things need to be on the plans. Bylaws are on the town's website. So that's a site plan approval, special permitted site plan approval, question mark?
Special permit because of zoning.
I just didn't want to get too far into the process, spend all this money and be like, you can't do it, so.
But unfortunately, we can't approve something we can't.
Right,
We
yeah,
don't-
I get it.
Special
I
permit.
don't believe we've refused one as to date, so if that gives you any, you're gonna, what type of plans are you gonna be submitting to the building inspector?
What do you mean, like,
He's gonna wanna see,
yeah, we have
Construction
Laura
plan.
Gay and Granby drop a pole barn for me,
okay.
yep. So an engineered
So-
plot plan, is that what it's called?
Well,
That's not something-
maybe more of a surveyor's plan as opposed to engineer.
So in other words, showing the elevation,
Yep.
showing the setbacks, front property lines.
Existing building.
And once it's all sent out or sent to the town, then other boards will get a chance to take a look at it.
I already went to the commission,
Prior to
the Conservation Commission 2 weeks ago.
but prior to the public hearing. And there'll be a joint public hearing with the zoning board of appeals and ourselves.
Okay.
No,
This isn't in a residential area, this is in a business zone.
where is it?
347 East 8th Street.
And where's that?
3 houses after the early mug,
Yeah.
over here.
Going that way?
Yep, my left.
That's zone commercial, so it doesn't need zoning board of appeals approval.
It just needs site plan.
Well, but it doesn't matter because it's the size of it needs,
Doesn't need zoning, still needs a site plan approval. But it shouldn't need zoning, because it's already been rezoned over there.
It's already in the proper area for zoning, it's allowed.
It's not in a it's not,
it's zone general business,
yeah, it's all overlaid in there.
site plan approval and special permit.
Yeah, but no zoning, no
Yeah.
zoning board of appeals.
That's what it says here in the current ones.
Let me see. Private garage sale.
You got the over or
Provide.
400?
Okay, that's another conflict in our bylaws. For instance, the last public hearing we had to put the commercial building in down here between
Which one?
Between C and G and the driving range.
We didn't change it in the up and coming.
Nope, we still gotta have a site plan approval.
Yeah, but it's not it's not ZBA.
Special
No.
permit is.
You wouldn't need a special permit, right? Because it's already in the, general business.
Right.
Why would you have the zoning board of appeals if it's in general business? I don't, it doesn't make sense, but that's what it says there.
And that's the new one, the proposed.
Yeah. But it says the same thing in that one, it's just spelled out, so you can understand it.
Well, regardless, if that's what we have to follow, that's what we have to follow.
Right.
I don't know.
Because you go here, and,
Yeah.
which doesn't make any sense. In the village common.
So if you go on the town's website under the town, under the planning board section, there's the forms and the guidelines.
That's this right here, right?
Yeah, that's what you're thinking
Has Laura started working the plans for you, or?
No, she had drew it up for us in the past, but that was 24 by 36. And I'm gonna go with that. So I just talked to her today, she's like, oh, I can't get them drawn up tonight. I'm like, I know, I'm just gonna go there with something, you know.
Yeah.
I'll go reach Friday for her to draw something up. But I, like, again, I just wanna make sure it's kinda like, you know, it should be a go, because I don't wanna put all this, you know, into it. Like, if I pay a surveyor, it's gonna probably cost a couple grand right there. So what's the zone we're in? I'm in?
General business.
It has a GB overlay over there.
Everything got printed, but the printing on paper like this, nothing hard.
For the cover?
On the back.
Really?
Yeah, and they're not in color. We didn't have to take them, but I'm thinking we need to get them.
So general business means I can have a business there?
I wouldn't
That's
have
right.
that if I was gone.
Yeah.
I picked them up on the.
Another package.
General business, general business.
Pick it up
The two right in the road.
How many pages?
Well, actually, no, it's not.
21 or
Yeah,
something?
something like that, but still.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
It was more pages than what I thought it would be.
Well, because of the charts and things, the prettiness.
I'm wondering, we're gonna need some kind of visual aids down at, for that public hearing. Do we have access to anything like that? To where we can show the zoning maps
Oh, on the screen?
on
you
the
wanna do
screen?
that? We probably.
14?
Except for I can't do that and take the minutes. The minutes.
All this, I'm like, it's overwhelming. half of it needs.
On this rock and do it on his rock. Are your ears ringing? Or talking?
No. I'm just like the granny.
Will, maybe you can pull it up quicker over there. Can you see where the verbiage is on that, anything over 1,200 square feet requires? I want to make sure that matches the chart.
I don't know if there is verbiage, it's just what's there.
No, there should be something, anything over 1,200 square feet requires,
Well, you have, I didn't bring my
Oh,
copy
well,
of the
one
bylaws.
contradicts the other.
I just want to make sure we're not,
So I'm aware of the whole 1,200 square feet, so
There
if
isn't.
I build something at 12,
There won't be anything.
I don't have to come to this.
It will be a separate section saying
And would that still need, would that require a
if there is something
nothing.
survey
to
too?
be put in the
Nothing.
middle.
All it would require is a building
Building
permit.
permit. You can build it by right.
Well, no, I'm thinking, because I think somebody had done it, I heard somebody had done it, built like 3 1,200 square foot garages and kind of get around it or something, but
We don't want to hear that.
no. But
I don't know if it would be under lighting or something like that, or
1,200 what?
Referencing the chart that says anything over 1,200 square feet.
Just so we can 1,200 real quick.
Yeah, that's what I've got here.
Okay, so.
But I want to see where where it explains it outside the chart.
Okay.
not everyone in that chart has.
Yeah, I understand that, but I'm pretty sure that one does.
So this is the one here that he's talking about. So he wants to know if there's something farther in.
Yeah.
You doing a search?
Yeah, it's only come up in the chart.
Okay. Nothing?
Kind of agree with you.
All right, well,
Okay.
So it's 1,200 square feet, right?
yes.
Yes.
Okay. It only found 1,200 square feet in the chart. That's it.
That's the only thing that's showing up. Okay. And that'll dictate. We certainly have enough verbiage in here on signs.
That was put in the last time it was,
Tell me about it, I remember staying here until,
I think you know why.
okay, you're just gonna have to go by what's in the chart, how it reads in the chart. Private garage exceeding 1,200 square feet.
what does that mean?
That means it's gonna require special permit, site plan approval, and zoning board of appeals approval,
Which would be a joint meeting.
which is
so you don't have
absolutely
to go
ridiculous.
to two different.
When is that? When was that?
We can schedule
Or is
it.
it, oh, okay.
Once you fill out the paperwork and provide us with the appropriate drawings, then it'll get scheduled, advertised, and and your abutters get notified, and then it gets scheduled.
It becomes a public hearing, so the butters can, have questions or come to it,
Yep.
concerns with it.
Well, don't hold the meeting up waiting on, I'm just kind of
Yeah,
skimming through
unless you
here.
have any questions, yeah, I wouldn't,
What was your timeframe? You're looking like as soon as possible? or-
Yeah, it's gonna be, how long does it take after I get the plot plan and the survey and all that stuff? To have a meeting?
just, you can contact Kathy, she'll put you on the agenda. We'll review everything, if everything, you have all the necessary paperwork, we can have a joint meeting with the zoning board of appeals, we just have to schedule that.
They have to advertise for it too, so
Yeah.
by the time you put everything in,
Yep.
2 weeks from the time it's been advertised.
Because I guess at the end of the time, it's sent out all the notifications to the abutters as well.
It's mixed use, I don't think it's,
What?
what page? 34. Not sure if that's.
I mean, it sounds like a lot, I don't want you to get discouraged, because it's just
Nothing in there.
part of the
besides
process.
those numbers.
So,
No. Mixed use, no.
for private use, you're not looking to have a business or anything like that, just want a really big garage.
Huh?
You just want a really big garage.
Yeah, you should see my yard.
No, I just said,
Trailers and
Yep.
horse trailers,
Yep.
bobcat, and
And I
picked up a
would
classic
place-
car too, so that's the main reason.
you're good, Jim? You're all set.
Okay, all right, thanks.
Thank you.
Yep. So essentially, it's this one, doing, right here. Kathy, I put everything else in, wants to change. And here's the original one we took.
You guys are here for?
That should not be there. That should not.
Okay.
Didn't change anything, the new one, but we can.
It makes, and it's not required in the
Right.
village comments.
Yep. Okay.
I know.
That's
missed
where,
that one.
that's
Yep.
where it should be, if anywhere, but it's not in a business zone. Zoning board of appeals.
Provided that no business is conducted. I think that's the catch. There has to be a condition.
Okay.
I feel like one of those little kids on one of those wheel chairs. So I start bouncing up and down.
Mount you in the doorway.
What's this?
That's why Mr. and Mrs. Bernie are here.
Ah, okay.
Who's that one? This is this. So you need a public hearing.
What's that?
I said, we're looking at a public hearing. For that.
For the garage? Or this, we're moving on to this?
Because it's a change of what was approved back in 2005.
What was approved in 2005? Just
You should
curious.
have that there.
That's it, okay.
There was a fancy one with the wheel, water wheel in the corner. Yeah, that one. You got that one? This was the original one. The capital to everybody. And this is what.
That's it.
Is that any different than,
And this one? Oh, no, that's-
I don't have anything here. You have something there that shows the original use?
That shows what?
The original use?
Yeah, you have it on the, you just had it there. That's it, there you got it right there. Don't lose my copy.
I don't have this.
Yeah, you just looked at it, it's got the little picture in the corner.
no, I took this from you.
I know, but you should have it in there. Everybody got it.
It's
okay?
not in there.
You got- Somebody else?
You handed me this. You handed me these two.
Okay. Oh. Yeah, kind of, they're going together now. So what we're trying to figure out now, from what I understand, is what's the next step?
Well, I want to see what it was permitted for originally and what they're trying to transition it into.
So
It
that's
looks like
the
right
original
here.
one.
Convert existing farmhouse, single-family dwelling with
It's not much different.
unit with 4 bedrooms into 4 bedrooms dwelling and to provide limited food catering for on-premise events with seating for 15 to 20 guests and preparation of food catering off-premise.
So it
events.
sounds like it's going from a limited food catering to a full-time restaurant type thing?
Yeah, grab-and-go catering.
Oh, and catering, but yeah, but that's
And,
the only difference I see.
So you'll have breakfast, it's according to what you've got, you're gonna have breakfast and lunch?
yeah.
So people can come in and have breakfast and lunch? And you're also gonna have,
Probably dinners or something, but we're not sure about that yet.
okay?
Food catering.
Market type grab and go.
This is what the difference is.
Type scenario.
But then the retail,
'Cause they've already been
unique premium
approved
quality
for
goods.
Yeah, we're trying to, I would like to support local farmers, and that's my goal, into trying to get a nice coffee, local, I'm working with a lot of local farmers, trying to use their items.
Saying, I mean, they've already been approved, they've already been approved to serve food there, seating up to 15, 20 guests on their premises.
I don't get-
The only words missing from the
So
one
you're
in your
talking
left,
food
or the
products
one in
that
your
you
left hand has
probably be
retail
selling.
in there. The one on the right
Yeah.
side does not.
But
Like
that
grab-and-go foods.
would be retail. I mean, why, it's a business. That's a retail business.
Pointing out the-
Panera, like Panera Bread does, Starbucks, kind of that line.
I'm just going,
But it's going from a catering business to a
Well,
small
we're gonna
restaurant.
continue catering,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
you know, grab and go catering.
Yeah, we got in the plans already. for
restaurant was
20
allowed,
seats.
the original.
Yeah, we already got approved for it.
the
We did all
restaurant or
the plans
the,
for that already.
but there's also offering premium quality goods, all food,
Uh-huh.
that they would be offering, selling food at the same time, other than prepared foods. So it's a bit of a change.
Yeah.
Because
It's minimal.
The only bit of a change I see that might have anything, doesn't have anything to do with us.
The Board of Health.
Yeah, whatever goes on inside that building, other than it's been approved for a 15 to 20 guests
Already,
already, and there's,
15 to 20, let me look at this.
yeah.
I don't know, 15 to 20,
Last page, I think.
15 means nothing, 20 is the
20 is the
maximum.
max, that's, it says 20 there, right?
Which we have 8 parking spots, 3 people per spot.
Yeah, but I think it's already been approved for that,
Right.
so I think it's more what,
Right.
Mr. Trompe was saying, it's more the Board of Health as to what you want to change the inside to.
we did that.
So you can have up to 15 to 20 guests now,
Right.
according to the original.
Right.
And now it's just they're adding, selling food. Not the food they're making, they're selling that normally.
I don't,
Selling maple syrup or whatever, something like that.
yeah, I don't care. That doesn't do anything for the site plan as far as I'm concerned. Use hasn't changed, even if it, retail, it's same ownership. I don't take any issue with that. I don't see what's changing other than they're selling.
I think it's just the fact that we're selling other retail stuff is just it, that's the only thing. Because that wasn't in the original.
But that doesn't change the site plan.
Yeah, and the site plan,
Oh.
we don't care if they're flipping burgers or eggs,
Oh, there you go.
so.
Might be real well.
We'll be going on. For you, hopefully.
So not change, and what about hours of operation?
Well, for us,
Yeah,
work
6 to 2?
Like
6 to
six-
4?
6 in the morning to 2.
We're gonna have to figure that out
yeah, because
still.
you only do,
Maybe for the restaurant, but then the coffee shop, we're going to go probably till 4. We'll probably close a day during the week.
so 6 AM to 2 PM on the restaurant side?
I'll say 6 to 4, right?
6 to 4. I think we could say 6 to
I mean, according to this, they could have it anytime they want.
Yeah.
I mean, just going back to the original permit.
Yeah.
If they were- there's nothing, there's no hours even stated down there.
Depends
Well,
on
that's because it was put in as
customers
catering.
request, of course, we're gonna go by in business.
No, but they still have the 15 to 20 guests.
They can actually have a function there
Yeah.
and serve food.
Pretty much.
Because it wasn't-
for hours.
Explained or spelled out here, it doesn't mean it can't be spelled out now.
No, I'm not saying that.
Right.
I'm saying
Okay.
it's kind of wide open there.
So 6 AM
For
to
them.
4 PM, how
Yeah, it
many?
depends on customers' demands, of course, and, what
Probably start off, 7 days a week, and
No break?
depending on how we do,
Okay.
we may close a day on Monday, maybe.
Well, what's everybody's thoughts?
I have no issues.
I don't have a problem with it.
The only thing I'm thinking of that is, we probably need to specify the hours, but to do a whole
We
big
can't-
write-up
we-
for just the hours.
We can't,
Okay,
we can't open that back up again. They've been approved to operate the way they're operating,
except for they're adding a little bit more now,
such as,
selling retail.
we don't care what goes on inside there as far as it's a food service. They're not changing the operation.
So-
They're not asking to add another 20 seats, which would increase the parking capacity, right? They're
So if
gonna,
they sell anything other than food, that would be a change of use.
slightly, yep. Then they would have to come back to us and prove to us that it wouldn't affect first of all, if it's allowed in the zone, and it doesn't affect the occupancy, right?
Right?
So we wouldn't, well, they're gonna do something different that's gonna require 50 seats, well, then they're gonna have to come back before us with a site plan, so they can prove to us how they're gonna accommodate X amount of parking, but they're not doing that.
So, just to get it clear in my head, for not singling you out, but just to say, okay, a place has a food license approval. And instead so they're going along fine, now they want to add to that. They want to say, okay, let's throw in, it's summertime, people are here, let's sell sunblock and blah, blah, blah. Does that constitute a change of use? Or because it's still retail,
Well,
does it not?
I think the board would have to have a discussion on what percentage of that change is. If they're telling us it's only gonna increase their business by 2% or 5%, then what do we care what they're, and who's policing it?
Yeah,
The only thing we would be selling is something that kind of complements our catering or our food. Farmers with, I don't know. I knew that, there was this idea in my head, actually. If I could support a farmer to sell their maple syrup on our counter, I wouldn't do it just to support the local farmers. I would, that's my whole idea of getting back into.
Pretty much food. We're not gonna be doing sunblock.
so,
Open up like a Cumbies, we're not gonna do that.
yeah, and I was just trying to get straight in my head where the bylaws kick in, where they would kick in.
Yeah,
So
I did not think
like that.
yeah, no,
No, here's the thing, that you talk about something like Cumbies, they sell retail, and they
Yeah,
sell
yeah,
prepared food now.
Yeah.
What was that?
Cumbies prepares food now and sells it there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what the permit was for that.
Well, that's what I'm asking, so at that point, it's
Didn't
kind
they
of
always have food there?
They came back for when they changed that over and took up more of the building, they came back for site plan approval.
Okay,
Unless they change
so
it.
back to this one. So, the board discussed proposed changes and agreed.
It falls under.
Changes did not, so we're still in keeping. We're still in keeping with the original site plan approval. Does that work for everybody?
Works for me.
I'm okay with it.
It's,
You're all set?
okay.
These are ours for the record.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Good night. Look forward to it. I said I look forward to your restaurant.
Thank you.
good luck.
Yeah.
Yes,
Take care.
good luck.
Thank you very much.
I was saying to Lil earlier, for the public hearing on the 22nd down at the senior center,
Yes.
that goes in this folder, it might be wise to have some visual aid showing the districts, the overlays, and that kind of stuff. There's a screen down there. However, Lil will not be able to keep minutes and be able to display these things. Hence, the question goes to Rob, would you be able to from your laptop?
Yeah.
Project views?
There should be hard copies downstairs.
A long time ago, when I first got on the board, we were discussing some of that stuff, and Pam said the same thing. I've looked in this building, I've looked in the back room down at the senior center, I could not find anything. She said the same thing. Nobody knows where they, I've talked with with Kathy Leonard, could not find these poster board,
Yeah, we had them all made up for every zone.
Really?
I could not find them.
Should we have them done again?
Well, if we can simply put it up on a screen,
Right, you have two options. You have the, just get permission to use the TV that's there. You can put it up there, or you can display it on a projector. And get a
I would
screen
think the
there.
projector, more people would be able to see it than the smaller, because they don't have as big a,
No, it's a little smaller
what, do
now.
they have an overhead projector down there? Is that what they've got?
I don't know who it actually belongs to. I don't know if it belongs to the,
this one over here.
yeah, I don't know if it
I
belongs
think
to
that's
the,
conservation, this one down there.
yeah.
Well,
The chief, and the police department, I think he has one.
again, the hearing is not about zoning, rezoning. You're just saying, so you have something to reference when
So that-
for discussion. We're
We
not
know
changing the
We
zoning.
know the general populace is gonna ask the question, well, where's the GB, where's the, commercial, the light industrial, that kind of stuff?
Well, if you could pull it up and you could just hook it up into the TV, then it's all right there.
Yeah, well, those projectors work, you gotta.
Yeah. I mean, either or.
I think we should be prepared.
That's fine. I'm just saying it's not, it's a nice to have, but it's not
Right,
that
not
critical. We're not
necessary.
actually showing them. I can describe where each of the zones are.
Well, there are some people that are just visuals, and what you're saying goes, until you see a visual, then it all clicks in.
But if Rob is able to do it,
And that's fine.
yeah,
That's fine. I'm not against
I
it.
think
I'm
we
just-
should entertain them.
I'm just saying it's not mission critical is what I'm trying to say.
Now, do you want to go through those? Did you understand the email that I sent with the changes that were made? Do you want to discuss the bylaw stuff now? Before I bound ahead?
That's fine. I
Or do you
mean,
want to do the minutes or whatever first?
no, either or. We have to do both eventually. We can do the minutes. We'll just do the minutes, get this out of the way.
So we have March 11th and March 25th.
Is that supposed to be someone's name? Question, Ferry Hill Road.
Yeah, I didn't hear their name. and,
Okay.
you know, So, I got their address, I think, but not the name.
Is there a motion?
No, I'm not,
Not ready yet?
these aren't, these minutes are not accurate as far as I'm concerned.
As far as what?
As far as I'm concerned, I have a problem with the section under,
Okay, do you want?
I'm on page 15.
Okay.
It seems the reasoning seems to keep changing. why it was declined.
That's what I said, and it's on tape, that I didn't have enough
I don't have
information.
those.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, these I
here,
kept from the last meeting.
Oh, okay. That's what you handed out. One of the wrong ones.
what are you looking at?
I was looking at the ones from March 25th. You were looking at the other ones, so.
Yeah, well, you can take mine. You can just pull them up. Whoops.
March 11th, is that what you're looking for?
What day, yeah. I'll just bring mine up.
Page 15 of the March 11th minutes.
Yeah.
So what are you suggesting be changed?
Well, my recollection from the meeting and from watching watching it on GCAM, that the reason for the denial was that more information was needed from conservation, specifically conservation. The minutes that we reviewed at the last meeting stated that,
Not the
and,
minutes.
and the decision
The decision stated that.
stated that.
The minutes never changed.
And then now, well, this is stating March 10th, 2014. That's not correct, is it? That's a typo, I assume. That should be March 11th, 2000.
When the bylaws were changed? That's according to the March 10th, 2014 bylaws. Is that the
Is that,
paragraph you're looking at?
yeah.
Yeah, it's according to the bylaws. I didn't have enough information to make a decision.
Okay, so when you, in my opinion, when you deny something, you can't just say, I didn't have enough, well,
Why not?
what, because the applicant has the right to say, okay, then what are you looking for? So that I can provide
But that's my
it.
decision. If somebody wants to take me to court or whatever, then I can say specifically, yes, this and this. But it doesn't, it's not what I said, my reason for voting no was. My reason for voting no was not enough information, okay?
Then where did this conservation piece came up, which was actually in the decision we looked at our last meeting?
That's what we had discussed afterwards. That wasn't part of my decision, my verbiage for saying no. And that was part of what you had for your conditional approval.
Say that again?
It was part of your motion in the conditional approval. If you go back to page...
We were questioning about questions 9 and 10.
Page 6. Conditions to be included in the above motion. It doesn't say anything there, though, about conservation.
However, it does say on page 9, number 22 under pre-construction, prior to the commencement of construction, all necessary and required permits must be obtained from any and all other municipal, state, or federal departments, boards, commissions, or agencies, and all work shall be done in accordance with said permits. So whether it was conservation that was a concern, and questions on, question numbers 9 and 10, they were addressed in the conditions to be included.
Right? But that wasn't what I said was my reason for denial. My reason is that I didn't have enough information. I don't know if when they answered questions 9 and 10 and everything else that was conditional in here, I didn't know if that was going to be enough for me to understand it. I wouldn't have had an opportunity to follow up on that because all they have to do, according to the conditional approval, would be to submit that. I'm done. It's okay now.
However, those questions were posed to the peer reviewer prior, and the peer reviewer was okay with them,
Right,
with the answers given.
right. And I was trying to understand that. Nobody could
And
tell me.
that's, yeah, you were trying to understand it. However, that was gonna made available in the conditions.
Right, and if I still had a question, I would not have had a chance to ask it. Because all they had to do was submit an answer to that, which they were supposed to do before. But as I said, that is not my specific reason for denial. Not enough information for me to make a decision.
But you raised no other concerns about additional information you would like to have had.
Right? So, what is your point?
My point is how long do you drag this out? Or does a person drag this out?
Until a person knows enough, understands enough, so they can make an informed decision.
But these were the only things that were brought up on March 11th. When we closed the hearing and went into discussion with the board, as a board.
And I'll
those were
tell you
only
the same thing I told Jim. I'm taking minutes. I'm trying to catch up with everybody's conversation. I didn't have time to speak, and all of a sudden there's a conditional approval going on. A motion for conditional approval. I don't have time to catch up.
I appreciate that.
What it comes down to, it's still denied. There's a reason why, they need to be notified the reason why it was denied.
And I'm sorry, what was the last part there?
They need a reason why it was denied.
Not enough information.
They may say, well, what information? That's just a general statement,
That's
not
fine.
information. I thought in denial, you had to give a specific reason why. So then it's just saying to me,
It's the way I understand it.
Well, if you want to, feel free to check with the town attorney. But I believe he already reviewed it and said it was fine.
I don't know if he said it was fine. I know he did look at it. I recall him saying it was, not to my knowledge, that he said it was fine.
Oh, he may not have said those exact words, but
So what's the decision now as far as, how does that read? Has that been redone from what it was done on the last time?
yeah, I sent it to everybody.
I'm just saying, is it here in hard copy or no?
Well, I have two.
I can look it up.
These things.
And Kathy put it
I don't,
into-
just want to bring up something. A lot of stuff gets emailed back and forth, at least emailed to us. This needs, hard copies need to be brought up at our meeting. This is, so we,
I've got it here.
whatever, no, but so everybody has it, that's documentation, that's, so people want to see that, it's got to be here to be seen, so hard copies should
But
be
if you
here.
wait to review it till you hear, they're sent to you ahead of time, so you can read them ahead of time.
I understand, but it should be also be done at our meeting. though, too. The hard copy should be brought here to be discussed at our meeting.
Okay, well,
That's what we're
I didn't
referring
have time to
Well,
print that.
regardless.
No, I'm not, I'm just saying that, yeah, I'm not
Here are,
saying.
here are the two copies that were in the folder.
And you need
to
to
be
sign
signed.
two. Everybody needs to sign two.
This is the new decision written by, I believe, Bill Scanlon.
Correct? Because he was missing a few dates in the beginning there. The public hearing continuations.
Can somebody bring up the note that he sent along with this in the email?
I don't have my email on here, but
Yeah, I should be able to find it. What are we looking for again?
The email from Bill Scanlon with the new, special
I don't
permit and site plan denial.
the first version? No, the first version, he didn't send, nothing was sent to anybody, he handed them out.
No, I'm talking about this one.
That one, I believe I sent to everybody. He sent it to me,
Oh.
and I forwarded it on to everybody.
Yeah, but I believe there was a brief sentence or two from Bill.
Well, Rob's looking it up.
So my concern is, I remember something being said as to far as we needed more, or reference to, well, you needed more information from conservation.
Right?
Because I think you
So
called it
but
out.
that's not the reason, the single reason I said no. The single reason I said no is because I did not have enough information. Pieces of it are that, yes. That does not belong in the explanation. The explanation is not enough information for me to make an informed decision.
Well, at our last meeting, I made mention that the minutes came out later than usual, because you're
Right.
usually pretty prompt. And you said you were waiting to see the decision so you could incorporate that into the minutes.
I was waiting for those 58 conditions that we were picking off from another decision. And I wanted to make sure I had the same thing as Bill did in the decision. So he finally sent me what he had.
And that's when you had written it, the last decision stated conservation and more
Bill
information.
put that in. I didn't put that in. Bill put that in. And I asked him to take it out because that was not the reason for my decision, the sole reason for my decision.
So if, as an applicant, what specifically would you be asking them for as an applicant?
I'd have to look at a clarification on conservation, or going to conservation and what concerns they might have had that would flow over into our jurisdiction. And a down-to-earth explanation of those numbers 9 and 10 on the peer review.
So that
For a
is what
start.
you were.
Now,
That's what I don't get. We hire a peer review because some of this stuff is outside our expertise. The peer review reviews it, says it complies with our bylaws and state best practices in engineering, and then we question that.
why not? You
Because-
just take somebody's word for it because they're an expert in something, but you don't understand?
Well, there's two of them. They're overseeing the original expert. I'm not going to argue this with you. I am not signing, approving the minutes or the decision.
That's fine.
This is going to go to litigation, and I want to make sure that I'm not doing anything or saying anything that's going to,
We have
perjure.
65 days to sign this.
And what happens if we don't sign it?
I believe it's automatically approved, isn't it?
I don't know if it can be because we made a decision.
But if we're not signing it, we're not acting on the decision.
This would be a
That-
question for town council.
Right.
Because until we sign it, it's not binding.
I don't know about that. We already went through all the motions.
Again, a question for town council.
Right, well, that's what I would think, because that's,
Simply stated.
when we sign off on it, then it's actually being certified by the clerk as well. That it's, so,
So, are you gonna contact town council?
I can contact, if there's certain questions that I can pose from the board to town council, I will do that. So if we have questions that this board, representatives of this board want me to pose to town council, I will. But I would like to have the exact question that you
I
want
want these. Yeah.
proposed to town council and answered, so.
So why don't we figure out the questions?
I don't have any questions for him.
You don't have any questions?
Nope.
But you won't sign it?
But I will not sign it. There's been too much back and forth with the reason why, and I don't need legal counsel to make that decision for me.
So would a question for town council be, what happens if one person who's already voted doesn't sign the, whatever this is, the denial?
One or two.
One or two? If anybody.
Right, if anybody.
If somebody doesn't sign.
Question I would have for the town council, doesn't have to be a specific reason why we denied it. So the applicant could follow up on why.
So does there have to be a specific reason other than not enough information?
Right.
Okay?
And what happens if
Well, the thing is,
If
not
it's
enough
not signed.
information, you have to ask for it. And they have to say, I've given you enough information, this is all you're getting. They have, it's like you're saying they're not complying with the specifics that you've requested.
Well, that's my question to town council, is it doesn't need to be that way. And if there should be a specific reason why we should be giving, then I want to make sure that's given. Because there's a possibility that this will go further.
No, there's no doubt that.
So I want to make sure that
There's
we're
no doubt.
protecting the town.
So are these the two
Well,
correct
as ourselves.
questions you're going to ask? What happens if any of the board members refuse to sign the decision? And does there have to be a specific reason other than not enough information?
Do we have any other questions?
Is there one about if you don't sign after 6 to 7 days, is it automatic?
Well, that would be another,
Automatic approval?
if all don't sign by 65 days after the decision was made, does the project automatically get approved? And I would say no to that because we already made a decision. And it's been recorded,
Recorded
but it
where?
would be good to get his information on it.
But recorded where though?
It was recorded on GCAM.
Right.
It's in the minutes.
But it's not recorded with town clerk
No.
until we sign off on it, then that becomes,
Right.
again, I'll leave it up to town council, but I thought it'd become legal and
So you
binding
got
at
three
that point.
questions.
And what I'll ask is that those three questions, if you can email to all of us, unless they're gonna be in the minutes, and I'll make sure those are directly sent to town council in that format, and those are answered back to us
in writing.
in writing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
'Cause I don't, yeah,
Yeah,
that
I
would
want
be
the three
if I
questions.
remember correctly, I think he said.
Right.
Yeah.
I want the three questions posed to town council, and then they answer back. As to
Okay.
what, so, but, and where are we in a time frame then for 65 days too?
65 days after the public hearing was closed.
So it was March 11th.
Yeah, so we have some time. Not a lot of time, we have some time.
Should, and I'm just throwing this out, should we make reference to such and such a date, GCAM, if you wanted to review the tape?
In the decision?
No, in our questions to him, so he has, he can see what had transpired.
Well, what's the meeting
It's
date?
the March 11th.
March 11th.
Right.
meeting date, Right. It can actually be noted into him that he can view that on the YouTube page for planning board meeting for March 11th.
So you're gonna mention that to him, we'll put that down.
We put that in there, so.
The planning, March,
Is it raining?
11th.
Is it raining out?
Sounds like that.
what?
Earlier.
Is it raining out?
I think it's just the.
I don't know.
I don't know, is it raining? It's gonna,
Thought
maybe it's
maybe
the
heat turned on.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
March
Loud.
11th planning board meeting can be viewed online at. If I put the question for you, if I put the website address specific for that recording, how long will it work?
What do you mean?
Do you take the recordings off?
Oh, it's always on YouTube, right?
They're always on?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll put that link in the,
And I can make a physical DVD copy if you want.
March 11th.
I know.
So I guess we're not signing the Sean Lamoureux letter. The cease and desist.
Oh, because he's made moves to come forward to,
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Everybody okay with that?
He's made a,
And we're kind of in a bind that we can't even approve anything that he did present to us until we find out what's going on with Mass DOP. Or DLT.
You,
Because he'll probably end up losing some of that.
yeah,
I know some of them in South Hadley already have, as they've worked their way up from the Plains School intersection.
so our next meeting is the 22nd of April.
it's a public hearing.
Public hearing, well, meeting, well, because we're all, so,
Then we have the 29th.
what was on the agenda, the 29th? You said it was getting rather,
We have, what do they call it, Granby DG LLC,
oh, okay, yeah.
and, possibly, Red Rock, depending on
Possibly.
how the peer review goes.
so this should be on the 29th agenda. Because we wouldn't meet again till 13th of May, and that might put us outside the 65 days. Or very, very close to it.
So we'll put Borrego Solar decision on that August 29th.
April
August,
29th.
April, a little ahead.
Too, we may wanna start an earlier meeting too, because it seems like,
May what?
we may wanna look at maybe even starting it a little earlier. Seems like a lot of stuff's getting on that agenda now. On the 29th.
But I thought you had difficulty meeting at 5.
I do, on a regular basis, but if I can make it, if I know it's, I can't keep on early and early, I just, if we can, once in a while I can do it, so I can plan accordingly.
So,
2 o'clock?
Funny about fun.
so you're talking about April 29th?
Yes.
We to start that?
What time would you be open for?
We don't need to know right now, do we?
So we're meeting the
If we're not
22nd.
gonna see you on the 22nd,
No, we can email everybody and it could be, we don't need to make a, because that's just gotta be posted, like the Thursday before, so.
Let's see, did we have DG Solar this time?
So Glenn, what are you proposing, 5 o'clock on the 29th? Or earlier?
Maybe earlier.
Earlier than,
what time is good for you, Rob?
I'm good after 2:30, so.
So is 3, if I can make 3 work, is 3 feasible?
Well, how much time do we need before the fire?
Well, I questioned starting at 3 because we've already continued DG to a specific time.
Right.
to 5:45.
So I don't wanna get done with our business
That's what I'm saying.
at 3:30 and find out we gotta hang around till 5:30 to wait for the
Yeah, they're
public
actually
hearing.
at 5:45.
Well, that's the only thing on the agenda though, then?
Pardon?
What's on the agenda? Bob was just saying the agenda's getting lengthy for the 29th.
Well, you've got the Granby DG Series LLC,
Which is 5:45,
5:45 on the 29th.
and that's it?
Yep. And if we have any bylaw changes, that's it right now. Maybe Red Rock, depending on how the peer review goes.
With 5 o'clock, then I think we'll be fine. I
Yeah,
mean,
we can
5:30, it doesn't seem like it's gonna be a big meeting anyway.
Well, we can get rid of some of this ancillary stuff if we met at 5. And if we had anybody with an A&R or
Have it.
like this gentleman, Mr. whatever.
Todd Brunel, the garage?
Yes, regarding the garage,
In case he comes
If
back.
he
Well,
came
that has
back.
to be public hearing.
if he had questions or something. You're right,
5 o'clock's early enough.
5 o'clock.
On the 29th. Did you want to go over the bylaw changes, or are you doing something else?
No, I just wanna make sure before I commit to that, but.
Okay. Wait.
Well, if we're just doing regular business between 5 and 5:30, we don't need a full quorum.
Right. You wanna go over the bylaw changes?
Okay, here. You have, oh, that's yours. Take one and pass it along, please.
Is this a revised?
Yes. So if you will recall, we had some.
With you.
Chris had some last minute questions that had to get answered really quickly. So I met with him on the 29th. Just for clarification, and I put this in my email, on the, because we were making so many changes to the table in section 3, instead of having to spell out every single change we made, Chris suggested just striking out section 3.0 that starts it with the different definitions of who does what, and strike out table 1, and I think that is it, and replacing it with a whole nother section, with a whole new section. So that was it for that. And also for the, before that, we had in the packet, section 2, where we added in, we changed industrial district 2 to limited industrial. That should be the,
Yeah, I was thinking about that the other day.
that you don't like that, right? Limited? It does sound like rain.
Could be.
We're all gonna melt.
I'm having second thoughts about changing that industrial period.
But it just said before, like a town dump or something, which is why we were changing it.
So basically what they did is they spot zoned that
For the dump.
for the dump. So that they could put, right?
Well, since that's the only thing in that district, Lane, well, the old Lane Blacktop wasn't even included in that. Wasn't it? Was it?
I don't believe so.
No, it was just they took out the dump.
So now we're trying to make that inclusive of, so that's just one zone?
So you're saying just call it industrial district, not I-2?
I'd leave it just the way it is.
Well, the definition of I-2 right now is limited landfill / solid waste management and recycling use. So you couldn't put anything there, but a recycle or
Correct.
something like that.
Well, if I remember correctly, during, as we were discussing some of these bylaw changes, wording changes, you had brought up that possibly they could, the owner could store trucks, equipment.
Yeah, that's what I was saying, what if they wanted to park vehicles on that area?
I think we should just leave it the way it is. It's zoned for that particular use. It's still a dump, it's still a landfill.
This has already been advertised, though.
Yeah. It's already been in the paper.
It's all right.
We can change it at the April 22nd meeting.
Correct, that's what I'm saying. We can decide after the hearing that it doesn't make, if we decide it, that still doesn't make sense to go forward with it. I don't,
Okay.
Let me make a note.
knowing what's probably in there, front and back,
Where it is?
I think we should just,
So that's the reason, just leave it alone.
I think we should just leave it be and give it some more thought before we change it and make sure we do a little homework.
Okay, so this is section 2. We're just gonna leave it,
Right, we can leave it at that, and another year down the road,
we're gonna take that out.
we can start looking at it,
There's
and
no
find out
change
exactly.
at all in section 2.
Right.
It's almost like we've approved it to do what you want on it now.
Leave I-2, that's what we called it before, right?
We're talking about the area, right, front and back.
Yeah, it's all, it's zoned specifically for that use.
Oh, no, just industrial.
Lift that, saying it's now
Oh, we had-
industrial.
No,
Oh, no.
not that I-2.
I think we
Yeah.
just did that kind of.
I-2,
I-2.
and insert it, yeah, we're not.
Leave it
gonna
as
insert-
such, and do more homework.
Leave I-2 with current definition. Do not change. Okay?
But I'm saying eventually it might be something to look at, because they eventually can repurpose the landfill
Okay.
for something. They've done it in Chicopee, they've done it in areas.
And that's fine, and then they can come to us and ask us, and then we can find out
What needs to be done.
specifically
Yeah,
what they're trying to do with it.
Sure.
I missed it, the whole thing. Recap.
We're just talking about, if we should leave that as it is for the landfill. Instead of changing it, leave it as such,
Right.
and then, down the road, look at maybe what reasons why we change it, if someone has a use for it, they can come to us.
I
Let
think-
the reason come to us to change it, right, just let it.
Well, I think we need to do a little more homework
Yeah.
before we just
Sit
take the zoning off of it, knowing that there's it's a hazard in there. There's hazardous materials in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I think I'm finally getting where you're headed.
You saying someone's dumping hazardous stuff in there?
I'm just saying.
Okay, so that was the first change that was done. And then, because we were taking out that whole section, the table, farther down, we were adding the, let's see, it is now number 5,
Article 5?
Article 5. Well, no, on the public hearing notice. I'm on the public hearing notice. That one. Item number 5 is adding in the bylaw numbers. I'm sorry, bylaw number for the business estate lot, adding in that whole section. So it's, instead of saying we're putting it in, we weren't putting it in, but the other one is this was the less confusing way to do it. Are we less confused?
No,
Okay.
no,
But you
the
follow
answer
what
you
I'm
got
saying?
one.
And basically did the same thing with the single-family dwelling. Now, on that one, I made a change, but we need to vote on it, because I did it in time to get the wording out. But single-family estates said the zones they were allowed in.
This page here.
That's the first document.
So this one, let me go.
Oh, the one I'm doing now, I gave you the old one and the new one. And the old one says it's allowed in residential, RM, WSP, and AP. Now, those are overlays. So instead of putting the overlays in it, and the village center did not have anything, it wasn't listed in there, and it is in the table. Clear as mud?
Clear as mud.
So you got the old one and you got the new one there. You got the old one, I think is after the new one. If that's, or the, yeah.
The old one is the RS,
Well, one's in bold.
RMVC.
That's the new one.
The new one's in
That's the
bold.
new one.
Yeah, the old one has the WSP and AP. in it.
Water supply protection and,
Yeah.
yeah.
Everybody okay with that, or?
I'm okay with that.
Does that make sense, or?
That makes sense.
Okay. Okay with zone changes. Okay, bounding along. The next one is, the new section, the business estate lots. I just have a question on that. Where we say, it's the second page on the public hearing notice, right at the top, 5.13.1. Where we say two estate lots may be adjacent to each other without site plan approval. And then we're saying, but if it's more than that, they need site plan approval. If these are only in general business, wouldn't we want site plan approval no matter how many are there?
No, this is estate lots for residential as well.
No, these are commercial.
No, these are business.
This is business.
This is
estate.
business?
Yeah.
Okay, but we are allowing up to 5.
Yeah, but only if there's only two there, they don't even have to come to see us. So if it's a business, I would think we would want to review it.
Site plan approval. This is,
That's the whole new section we were adding
Yeah.
in.
You're talking about 5.13.
5.13.1.
Yeah.
The very top of the page. We could
and that's what we
say,
said, without site plan approval?
yeah, what we did was we took what was for the.
We took the same verbiage for residential.
From the residential.
So,
Yeah, that
right
can't
there,
be.
out needs to go,
Yeah.
without.
So, 5.13.1,
Good catch.
change to.
Yes.
So we could word it, up to 5 consecutive estate lots, adjacent to each other at the street line, require site plan approval. Does that work?
Could you read that back again?
Yeah. Up to 5 consecutive estate lots adjacent to each other at the street
Yeah.
line require site plan approval. What happens after 5?
they have to have a break of 150 feet of frontage.
So what happened, yeah, so what does that mean? There's never gonna be enough, never gonna be more than 5? I need a visual here.
Yes. You can have 5 estate lots, and then a conventional lot has to make that break, and then you could have 5 more estate lots.
But it has to be business.
Correct. And residential too, because we're going up to 5 on the residential side.
Right. So it's not sinking in. Let's try it again.
Pose the question, what are you struggling
The wording I
with?
have is to change 5.13.1 to read up to, wait, there we go. 5 consecutive estate lots adjacent to each other at the street line require site plan approval. Or we could say, up to 5 consecutive estate lots may be
How about we put,
adjacent to each other at the street level,
how about we
street
start out,
line, and require,
we'll just take out some of it, have the state lots may be adjacent to each other at the street line with a total of 5 consecutive state lots require site plan
No,
approval.
you gotta break it up, because 2 are allowed with site plan approval.
No, one's allowed. We just said 2 wasn't allowed.
If we're talking business, everything's gonna require site
Right.
plan approval,
That's right,
right?
that's right.
So that's why I said the state lots may be adjacent to each other at the street line with up to a total of 5 consecutive state lots require site plan approval.
so, business estate lots, right?
Yes.
May be
Estate
adjacent to each
each
other.
other at the
Not
street.
may, but we don't have to say has to, it's may.
May.
Okay.
May, it does, yeah,
Business
may
estate
be
lots
adjacent
may be
to each other
adjacent to each other
at the street line with up to a total of 5 consecutive estate lots with site plan approval.
Business estate lots. Let me get rid of this here.
Does that make
It's
sense?
not flowing, right.
So we start off,
Business estate lots may be adjacent to each other at the street line with up to a total of 5 consecutive business estate lots.
no, consecutive, because it's already in the business area, you don't have to put that down.
So
Again.
just say lots.
Consecutive estate lots with site plan approval.
Okay.
Because you're taking out the word
Yes, I have the
required
word
with.
require in there, which is throwing me off.
Take out the word require and replace that with.
So, business estate lots may be adjacent to each other at the street line with up to a total of 5 consecutive estate lots with
Site plan approval.
Should we say all with site plan approval? Got it, okay. Bounding right along. You okay with
Here's
that?
the answer to your question.
Oh, look
1,
at that,
2,
Bob.
3, 4, 5 estate lots in a row, all require a minimum of 40 feet. Then you have to have a regular lot,
Okay.
150, and then you could
Do it
start another 5.
Visual.
Assuming it's your property. If it's not your property, somebody else could start another 5.
Oh, really? Okay.
That's how that determination was done down here on East State Street.
That's right.
Okay, I didn't touch any of the others, there wasn't any reason to, it's just that they, numbering wise, they weren't list.
Are we going to be providing the handouts?
Like
Yeah,
Copies, I was gonna ask Kathy to make them
please.
for each one, showing the before and the
Yeah.
current, or proposed.
Mhm.
Now, these are changes we will propose at the public hearing, so they won't be in the copies. Because that's
They won't
already,
be in the one?
they won't be in the copies that we hand out,
No.
These are what we're gonna recommend at
Yeah.
the meeting.
because it's already in the public hearing notice
Right.
about the estate lots.
So we can recommend that at the public hearing.
Okay. So is everybody,
Mhm.
you are?
Oh, yeah. It's in here, I'll have to kill myself.
Well, after, I was doing all these changes to get them in on time while Bob was in having his surgery, so I'm in the waiting room, we're going, okay, I need this, and then my email on my computer at the time decided to not work. I was emailing Kathy back and forth, so I had to talk to her over my cell phone, back and forth, it was fun, pass the time. Okay,
Yeah, what too is interesting, Bob and Lil, you bring it up where people at that meeting may need a visual. What does that, yeah, what does that mean? I don't understand what you're talking
yeah,
about.
we
So
need
that,
that, we need your,
we may need something like, it's,
what is,
but it's true, people may not
Then there
know.
better be a chalkboard.
I could probably randomly put something together, I'll send it around and see if everybody just wants
Do
to
you want,
use a
do you want the
target
visual
practice.
back?
Yeah.
So what's that again, Lou?
I'm
Where'd you-
gonna attempt a drawing of the estate lots there. Right here.
Yep.
If I can't, then, I'm not by a long shot in one of this, so. Do you want another copy of this?
At some point.
I can give it mine.
We can give examples in other towns too. Right down the street here on 202, there's where you've got a business in the front and then access for a business in the back.
Yeah, if we could point that out to people, and I don't know what else we could do for visuals.
If you want.
Do I want what?
I was just gonna write in there, where it says 150, regular conforming lot. Like right here, regular conforming lot.
Leave that up, Chairman.
Just one thing I want to bring up, and I guess it goes back to our last meeting, with Bill Scanlon and PVPC. I guess, I want to see how the board feels about this, but I was kind of, I don't know if alarmed would be the word I'm looking for, but concerned. I was concerned when he said he didn't feel, comfortable, going over our bylaws and speaking out as to what's allowed, not allowed. And my understanding is that that's what we hired PVPC as for our consultant, was to do that.
Well,
In the past, we had Larry in the past for some time there, but that's what he did.
yeah, I guess to some extent.
Well, again, it just became a concern of mine when he said he didn't feel comfortable.
I think where it became a real concern, at least of mine, was he never said anything 2 weeks prior when we tasked him with doing this. And we had to wait until 2 weeks later to find out that he didn't feel comfortable.
Well, yeah, he shouldn't have waited 2 weeks, number one. And number two, that's what we hired him for.
Right.
If he doesn't feel comfortable reviewing I agree with you, Glenn, reviewing our bylaws, that's what we hired.
So we're paying for a service.
That's,
But,
Yeah.
I just need a clarification. We didn't hire Pioneer Valve, PVPC to be a peer review.
Right.
That wasn't a peer review. A peer review is when you're reviewing, we use a peer review for when we're reviewing engineering.
Right.
We didn't ask him to do the engineering. Just like Larry Larry wasn't an
Just asked them to
engineer.
review the bylaws.
Make sure it complies with our bylaws. Not the
Right.
engineering piece of it, but setbacks.
But we still weren't getting an engineering piece, independent from what they already had.
The
Right?
town of Granby was
Was what?
getting an engineering piece from what?
Conservation was.
Right,
No?
town of Granby. And we didn't have to worry about it because there was no stormwater management concerns and conservation was already handling that aspect. So at what point do we overstep
Right.
our bounds if that's a conservation issue?
But that's a separate
Yeah.
issue.
Yes.
As far as, I agree with Glenn. When does he come to us the next time? Or does he ever? He's not gonna, what do we need him here for?
So that's
If
my
he's-
question. As a board, we're hiring PVPC to provide a service to us. And I think if the scope of services that we need, we want to make sure that that is what they're providing.
Okay.
And I know, and again, I just bring it up because we know what, Bill had said to us. To me, it was just concerning that he didn't feel comfortable in reference to some of our bylaws and speaking out in regards to those. So, again, this is a service that we're paying for. If he's not, if the scope of our, what we're looking for from them, he cannot do, then that's something we need to rethink. Because we're paying for a service for that.
So,
And we need
when
it.
the contract is up, you're saying we need to rethink?
I don't know if we can wait until it's up.
Right.
We can't wait for another project to come up and then have him say,
Our contract now specifies there are, that what we use them for.
For, it says,
If he can't, if they're an overseer for us to help out with our boards, if he can't speak to what our bylaws are and doesn't feel comfortable,
and then this is who Pioneer Valley gave us when Susan Westa
right,
left.
yes.
Maybe they didn't choose right.
It's a possibility, so, and again, that's something we need to.
So what
address.
avenue do we take? Do we talk with PVPC? Is there like a,
Catherine Matei is the one that Susan Westa reported to, and that's who.
We-
reports to?
We may need to request a different representative from them. And just in regards to, nothing against Bill, but again, it's he doesn't feel comfortable what we're asking him to
This
do
is
as far
nothing
as.
personal, of
Right,
course.
right, it's just regards to, we can ask him to clarify what he meant by that. If we need more clarification, but again, sitting here, I have concerns with that.
He's helped us, he's given us good information, other than that.
He has, and that's, well, again, this is where I'm coming from. This came up, and that was concerning to me, that none of it came up before, and he has provided us with a lot of good information.
Yeah, this
So,
is the first, oh, maybe not. Okay, forget that.
he can't be selective, and if he is, for whatever reason,
You do or you don't.
we can't wait 2 weeks. We were embarrassed, and we held up an applicant.
I didn't bring them with me tonight, but the permitting guides, I picked them up at Pioneer Valley Planning Commission, and I wouldn't hand them out to my dog. They were comb-bound, but they're all just your regular copy paper. You would expect a heavier page on the top and one on the bottom, so that when you pick it up, the whole thing just kind of, and it's not in color. We have these lovely little charts to follow that we were looking at in color, but they're not, so. And seeing as we didn't pay for any of that,
I thought that was paid with a grant or something.
The MTA
because-
grant.
Right, because, so they were paid for it. They were paid.
yeah. Yeah, we don't owe anybody any money for that.
What do they charge for those?
What, they didn't charge us, they charged it back to the grant.
But I mean, but they're paid to, again, provide something, they're paid, regardless of the grant that came from,
Right, I'm gonna
They're
talk, see
paid.
if I can catch Catherine Rattay tomorrow.
because who was it Munson, Town of Munson that was doing it too?
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what they're,
Yeah,
because they were basically the same. But to hand them out to anybody, Kathy Leonard and I both have the original documents, so they can be printed the proper way if you want to. And we would have to spend the money on that.
So going back to,
PVPC?
yes, there's no confidence that it seems, at least some of us have. Should we be looking at a different firm?
we can definitely do that.
It wouldn't hurt. Do we know any?
Oh, we locked into this? You said there's a contract in place?
It's a year contract, I believe it's up in June
It's a fiscal
30th.
year one.
June 30th.
Where's that reside? In Town hall somewhere? Where can we,
The contract?
Yeah, just
Chris
see
Smart
what-
would have a copy of the
to
contract.
see what we're asking them to do? So, I just wanna
Yeah,
read
I
myself.
can email you a copy.
Okay.
The other thing is I'd asked, we had a bill from them a while back, and we didn't have the detail by project,
Right, and that was mentioned the bill.
so I still have that bill, and I've been sending Catherine Rattay emails. She's been out for a while, now she's back, and I keep telling her, you're not gonna get paid until you give us the detail.
And this has been an ongoing thing for the past several years, as far as we wanted a detailed bill as to what we're being charged for.
And they were doing okay.
Explanation. They were,
Until this bill.
yeah. Larry got it going to where it needed to be, then Larry left,
But we still need
so,
to know chargebacks for projects.
yes, absolutely. And that's, we wanted to specify exactly what project was being charged for what.
Right. I even asked Bill Scanlon if he would follow up with Catherine, and he wasn't getting an answer either, so I don't know if it's just something that she never did before, and just, all of a sudden it's thrown at her.
Well, it's important that we keep all the emails and that they're, we want to pay it, but we want to know what we're paying for.
Yeah, keep following up with her. So where would you get any candidates to do this? It would almost have to be a planner.
They're out there.
Eight-person hire
Right, they're out there.
who's doing stuff like that already.
Yeah.
Like Bill is doing.
Right, but I would imagine there's other people out
To-
there for, besides PVPC.
And, maybe we should have a talk with Chris. What we're doing now is more than we've ever done in the 10 years I've been on this board. It's getting busier, the projects are getting more complex, there's more, think of, they used to take the summer off.
Yes,
Yeah,
We don't do that because we're too busy.
yeah.
We're meeting more than twice a month now to keep up with so that we can accommodate the applicants. And I think ideally, if we had a part-time planner,
Yeah, and I know Chris has mentioned something about a part-time planner
Maybe we
and a
could-
budget.
Share it with another town. The person, gender neutral.
even a lot of what you're doing, which is very much appreciated, is more of it's,
Yeah,
this
It's
stuff
stuff
here,
I shouldn't be doing.
it's stuff you shouldn't have to do.
right.
I really think we're at that point where, and quite frankly, just before we move on,
Yeah,
I'd be willing to have that discussion on behalf of the board with Chris, but, even if we have to change our fees to support, I don't know if we don't need anybody full-time. We probably don't even need anybody, 30 hours a week, but
well, we
probably,
could share with another board.
if we could get 15 or 20 hours of contract with somebody.
they are looking for somebody for conservation, I believe.
Chris
Well-
has mentioned something about that, he wants to look at a planner, like someone maybe part-time, I think he's looking to
There
put
you
into his budget, so whether or not that gets approved, if that's something other.
Should we meet with him as a board, or just, you think one member of the board could?
I don't care, I just think we need to look at, I think we should go that avenue rather than try to, have
fine.
Pioneer Valley send us somebody else.
We'll start with one, see what happens.
I mean, I'm fine with, if
Yeah, we
Jimmy,
don't have a lot of.
if Jeff wants to speak with them, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, especially with the PVPC contract.
Yeah, coming up,
Yeah.
to not have one, somebody.
Yeah,
Okay, so Jim, you're gonna talk to, I'll just put down
If
PVPC.
the board,
I'm fine with that, I don't think we need to vote on that, but unless anybody has any objections.
no
to it.
decisions, we just need to,
Yeah, everybody agrees with
Yeah.
it.
I mean, we can do it without, and just,
Jim was
without
gonna
Chris, but it would be
discuss
nice if
with Chris
we were doing it
Martin.
in.
No, I like to have Chris
Regarding,
involved in it, because it's gonna come down to,
part-time planner. As
what's it
opposed
gonna
to
cost, and
PVPC.
what would you need to,
And if we have to collect more fees, then that's what we have to do.
Now, to collect more fees, would we have to go to town meeting, or could it be done just the same way Conservation did it recently by approaching the select board?
I think it could be done the same way. Well, conservation is
As part
appointed,
of you, right,
so it might be different. They're appointed, so that might be different,
okay.
because we're an elected board. So that might, it could be different.
I know Kathy had to go before the town.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's what I'm thinking. It
Anytime
could
the
be
Board of
different.
Health changes something,
I think it,
they go before the town. so-
that's might be where the difference is.
But I mean, it would be justified
Oh, I think
to
so,
do
yeah.
that, to,
Well, yeah, right, I mean, I think we're looking at protecting the town, and we're just putting the cost back on the applicant. I mean, foremost, we're protecting the town, to ensure things are done right. So it's why we'd hire a peer review.
Are we done with that?
Yes.
I am,
You're all too close.
well, no,
There you go. 15 Lyman Street, we had a special permit request, and we were gonna ask Kathy to set up a meeting with the ZBA, because it's outside of general business. That was the woodworking
correct.
shop and sales. Evidently, this gentleman is going to have a chit chat with conservation to see if there's gonna be any issues there, because if he's gonna have to spend a lot of money, he doesn't want to
we're
do it.
gonna do it, okay.
So,
So town
until
hall.
that's settled,
Yes,
Okay.
then we won't see that again. We already did Westby. And do we want to go over these 3,000 to-do items so we can get them off? We'll probably can say they're all done, but you know. It'll take a page or two off of the minutes.
why not?
No.
I'm just gonna read it from the, okay, so the first one I have is for Glenn. Look at that. Follow up with Chris Martin regarding location for April 22 public hearing. That is completed.
It's completed, you're having it there.
Yeah. Follow up with, this one's for me, follow up with Jeremy Carrier, for bylaw changes prior to April 22nd. This is where we wanted to let them know,
The zoning board of appeals.
yeah, the changes we were making. And he's trying to figure out who I am. Kathy's talking to him, and he's supposed to call me.
Who is?
Jeremy Carrier.
Jeremy.
He's the chair
Yes.
of the ZBA.
Yes.
So in process, I'm gonna say. Now, another one for me. Work with Kathy Leonard to arrange a joint meeting with the ZBA regarding Lyman Street. That is complete, because,
Mhm.
okay. Work with, this is for Bill Stanley, to hire a peer reviewer. That's work with time, not another period.
That's done.
That's done. Make edits to lateral letter, that's done, but he came in the meantime, so we didn't have to send the letter off. Email Mr. Brubaker and Mr. Bombasi, the list of approved peer reviewers with a copy to Bill Scanlon, that was the Dollar General folks, and that was done. I was to work with Kathy Leonard to request Kathy Bernier attending a planning board meeting to describe business she intends to run at 181 West Street, where it was really her father, so that's done. See, we're skipping along. Another one, set up a meeting with the, set up a meeting with the ZBA.
Pending.
Yeah, there we go. Find an alternate location for the public hearing, that's completed. Glenn, contact Matthew Bombasi regarding public hearing date for Dollar General, that was way back in March, so yes, that's done. Follow up with town council, Jim, regarding solar moratorium warning, which you did, right?
Mm-hmm.
Submit the planning, this is for me, submit the planning board's 2018 annual town report to Kathy Leonard, that was done. Ask Kathy Leonard to copy Bill Scanlon on anything sent to the planning board, that's done, he's getting all sorts of mail now. Glenn, ask Chris Martin to contact town council for his opinions as to whether or not the planning board can accept applications during the timber moratorium and before the special town meeting. That's done.
Done.
Another one for you, ask Kathy Leonard to send town council's response to the planning board and to Brianni, Angus, and Timebot. That's done. Well, we're gonna have like 2 things on here when we're all done. Draft planning board annual submission, done. Work with Kathy Leonard to post a public hearing notice for Granby Solar LLC, done. Speak with Chris Martin to get permission from the town attorney to talk with Granby Solar's attorney, that was done. Speak with Chris Martin to get permission for Bill Scanlon to speak with the town attorney. Everybody got permission. And I was to ask Kathy Leonard to set up a public hearing for 59 Ferry Hill Road. And he doesn't have, I'm gonna say, ongoing. Because the gentleman hasn't turned in the detailed plans we needed, and if I remember correctly, Jim, you had said that unless there's a, something that shows there's a business going on there, we really didn't need to see it again.
We don't need to see it unless unless someone can prove he's running a business or he's requesting to run a business.
So should I leave that as ongoing or completed?
I'd say it's complete now.
Complete? I like that. S, whoop, yep. Ask Susan Westa for an accounting to date.
How's that going?
In progress. Glenn, follow up with Chris Martin regarding attorney review of bylaws. That was way back in last November.
Yep.
Completed. And meet with the high school principal, possible recording secretary.
I'm gonna follow up on them,
In progress.
yeah, but I I've had like 3 meetings with him in the past month or so, and I totally forgot all about it. It's,
Review sample bylaws for common driveways, flag lot estate lots, and driveway standards. I have that as ongoing because we've already got the estate lots taken care of, but then Larry Smith had sent us sample driveway bylaws.
Oh, wow.
a long time ago. I thought we didn't wanna do anything with those, I thought we were fine with.
So I think we were talking about driveway standards that are gonna be like the common driveway for the 5 estate lots. And we were talking width of driveway, drainage, pull-offs.
No, that was in regards to the project up on Turkey Hill, when they talked about driveway standards.
Steepness of height.
We were also talking about, okay.
But I remember that came up when we were talking about, not Turkey, it was the other one that they're talking about, that other development there, up off of,
Munson.
Munson Ridge.
Yeah, it's Turkey Hill.
Is Turkey Hill? What am I thinking of?
Carver.
So we're leaving that,
Granby people know it is Turkey Hill.
are we leaving that as ongoing, or?
You know, Granby people, one Granby people.
Yeah, well, yes, old.
Yes, no, maybe?
Yes, what?
Keep it on, or
What?
Take it off.
Honestly, I don't think we, I don't,
we'll call it completed?
yeah.
And then there's two ongoing, create a spreadsheet for PVPC charges, and we only have like one bill, we don't have the details, so. And keep track of items to submit for town annual report, which I'll do anyway.
Yeah,
Well,
took it all right off the list.
So our next meeting is the public hearing, at 5:30 is the COA building.
It's at 5:30. We should convene at 5.
Yeah, I thought that's what we were doing. Well, the 29th, I thought you were only doing the public hearing on the
So,
22nd,
right.
nothing else.
Well, if you're doing, well, I think Jim's saying he wants to be before, just not to start, so.
Yeah, I don't want to just get there at 5:30, and I want to have us be there half an hour ahead of time to
So you need to make
get
sure.
organized.
Okay, so I'll
You
change
just
that
said,
to
good with that?
So you need to make sure
at
that's,
5 PM.
that's noted as, our meeting,
We can get set up.
5 o'clock, it's gotta be,
Okay.
it's gotta be,
Okay, we need a motion.
make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
all in favor? Aye.